Rhapsodize Audio presents I'm Nobody.
I say it just begins to live that day. Surgeons must be very careful when they take the knife. Underneath their fine incisions stirs the culprit, life. My life closed twice before its close. It yet remains to see if immortality avail a third event to me, so huge, so hopeless to conceive, as these that twice befell. Parting is all we know of from the sea, and yet with amber hands she leads him, docile as a boy. He likes a boggy acre, a floor too cool for corn. Yet when a child and barefoot, I more than once at morn have passed, I thought, a whiplash unbraiding in the sun. When stooping to secure it, it wrinkled and was Yet know I how the heather looks,